Welcome everybody. Let's take a tour of the Edublogs website. Once you are logged in and you are on your dashboard, there's a couple of navigational tools that you're going to need to know about. The very first one are these houses right here. So one of them allows me to see my neighborhood. So basically I get to see my house, basically my website, and I get to see all of the other houses that I'm connected with. If you are a student, likely what you have is you only have your teacher's website and you have your own. So just make sure that you remember that if you go to your teacher's dashboard, what's likely to happen is you can see the dashboard, but it's just like if you were in somebody else's house. You're not going to be allowed to rearrange the furniture in somebody else's house. So if I click on this, it's going to say, hey, you're not allowed to access this page. You didn't do anything wrong. That just means that you're in the wrong place. So if you come up to my sites, you're going to find your own house because you are allowed to make changes in your own house when you have a house. So I'm going to go into dashboard. And now you're going to see if I click on that again, I'm going to get into the general settings. So the very first thing that I would recommend is that you make sure you are on the very important part where you have obviously found your settings. So make sure you are in the right space. They are going to look very much alike. They are going to absolutely look the same, but please make sure that you're double checking that. If you get those windows, then you know that that's number one thing that you can do. The other thing up here, the single house, is what that's going to do is it's going to give you a preview of your site. So here is where you build it. This is what the public sees when you visit it. So right now it's a very standard little post because it's just the start. I have changed my theme. You might see something completely different. You might see something gray, but right now as my settings are, this is what I see. So I'm going to come back to my dashboard. And the dashboard is the toolbox. So you have all of these tools that you can get through other places. The dashboard is a very, very easy place to get started with and where you can be directed to other tools. So on the side here, you're going to have Reader. And Reader is one of those things that helps you to kind of take a look at things in a very general sense. So these are my teacher's posts. I can tell that because of the name of the title. I can look at my sites. And right now I just got a notice that my teacher made some posts and I don't really see too much else because there's not a whole lot going on. So I'm going to go ahead to my class. This is what's opening in my whole class, so I might see some other things going on, but I also see that the teacher's been the only one posting. So this is a good news feed when you're looking at it for your reader. My sites, these are the sites that you are connected to. Again, you're not going to be able to see that. If you want to hide Mrs. Walton or whatever your teacher's website is, you can click on this little checkbox and it will hide it from up here so that you're not accidentally clicking on that. You don't have to do that, but it will always be here so that you can see that. So if you miss or do click that box, the only place you're probably going to be able to find that for the most part is under my sites. I would recommend leaving it just in case. That way it's easy to find and you have that on your little scroll down. Your class blog, this is going to be the teacher's blog, so this is the one that you are attached to. This teacher's blog can be a whole lot of different things. I have set mine up for my kids, so you see my posts are on my front page. The least recent, the most, sorry, it's the end of the day, I had a brain fart. The ones that were made first will be at the bottom, the way I have mine arranged, and the ones that are more recent, I have my on the top. So you can see on this particular template, it gives me the dates. It also gives me some links on the side, and we'll talk about pages and posts here in a little bit. But in order to get back to my dashboard, again, I'm going to come up to the top, go to dashboard, and then I have some other things. So posts are going to be those entries onto the page. So pages are going to be like different chapters in a book, and a post is going to be the individual pages inside of that chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and if I click all posts, the only post that I have on my page right now says Hello World. So that is the default post. So if I click on that, I'm going to see that this is the one that Edublogs has absolutely put in there by itself, so that what it's basically doing is just giving me something that I can come and find. When I want to get back to my page, I can either hit the back arrow or I can hit the W, and that gets me back to where I was before. I can also add a new post, categories, tags. We'll talk about that later. Right now, the tags would help you to organize Categories would also help you to organize and to kind of go from there. Right now, we have uncategorized categories. If you wanted to put, hey, this is a reference, hey, this is a how-to, hey, this is this one's about color, this one's about theory, whatever it is, you can create categories so that when you go to look them up or later, they kind of put themselves into a group. We won't probably be making that many posts, but in case you needed to know, that's what that's all about. You can also put tags in there, and that does give it some idea about what kind of things it will tag to and highlight. We are not going to worry too much about these. Media is basically anything that you have uploaded into your blog. It kind of serves as a storage area so that your blog can access it later. So basically anything you've uploaded is going to come here, and if you need new media, if it's not selecting anywhere else, you can select files from here and drop them in here so that you can find them later in your browser. Links are going to work kind of the same way, where anything that is a link on your blog ends up right here. You can categorize it so that you can find them later, and you can search by category. Right now, these are the ones that auto-populate, and as you can see, I can take these and I can actually delete the individual ones if I do not want these to show up anymore. Some of them are valuable, some of them are a little bit less valuable, probably more to your teacher depending on which ones you're focusing on. But I can also add new links and link categories just like I can in the media posts. So these are two different ways that you can collect. So these ones are links to other places. The media are files and things like that. Pages, as far as pages go, this is how you add a new page to your blog, and I'll show you the difference between a page and a post in a minute. So let's say I want to add a new page. You will probably start off with a default one just because that's what they do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trash this one. And I'm going to add a new page. So I'm going to add a page that says, let's see, collecting resources. Whatever you wanted to title it, and then you can choose a block. Blocks are basically what you can insert in things. There is a short list of the most common ones here. You can search for one. If you wanted to browse all, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of different blocks that you can choose. And basically it just allows you to add something into that slot. So it basically reserves. So if I wanted to use a paragraph, this is to collect my research, feel free to browse. Whatever you need. You do not have to put any text in there, but that gives you an idea, and then it gives you some editing boxes. So you can edit as you go. This will allow you to change the alignment. This tells you it's a paragraph. You can change the type of block it is. You've got bold, you've got italics, you've got links, and you've got any of these little things here. You can also take these and drag them around in certain places. Right now we're not going to worry about that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to I can either save it as a draft, I can preview it to see what it looks like on my page, or I can just hit publish. I'm just going to hit publish for right now. And it wants to double check, do you want to publish it now? Do you want this to be visible, or do you want to hide it while you're working on it? Don't do password protected unless you really, really need to, because we don't want to lose your password. So right now I want it public. I don't care that it publishes right now because that's what I want, so I'm going to hit publish right now. And I can either go view the page, and if I want to view the page down here I can, and what that means is it's basically going to take me, and you can see that my new page is there, collecting resources. This is my research, so it has changed the format of this. So I'm going to go back to my blog dashboard, or I can even just do this and hit this, and I'm right back into my snuggly little bit right here. So I have my pages. So that has created a new page on my blog. If I want to create a post, that's a different place. So if I come up to posts, I'm going to hit create a new post, and this is my post. Make sure you give it a title. I am just throwing something in there for right now. You'll want to fill this in. This is my text entry, just to show you can see the difference. And we're going to hit publish, publish. We're going to view the post. And you can see there's another post on top. So this page is the default page because there's only one. So right now we're going to go back and I'll show you the difference there too. Let's do a new page here. Okay, I'm going to add another one. Let's call it home fry or home page. I'm just going to publish that page just as it is. Okay, so let's view and see what happened. So as you can see, I actually have a home page, but the other one is missing. We actually have to, now you can see this is my post, hello world. So you actually have to manage posts and pages a little bit differently. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go and manage my posts later. I'll show you the difference between managing those. Right now this is just the tour. So comments, you can see if there's been any comments. Obviously they have done this right now. You can approve or unapprove, but keep in mind that your teacher will also or could also have settings on there that they have to approve it before you even see it. So there is a chance that you're going to have to do that. Chances are I can see this because I am the teacher logging in, but it might be that it's set a little bit differently. So I can delete these, I can reply, I can do that right from my comments board. You can edit your comments spam filter too. So far you don't have any spam, so you don't have to worry about it. Right now, appearance. Themes is what you were using to find your Archino notepad. If you guys remember, you actually could do that from here too. Remember, this is a summary. It kind of gives you the big things all in the same place, but there are other places that you can find that. So if I come to themes, you're going to see this page. If I come to patterns, I'm not quite sure what this is yet. We're going to skip that. Customize. That's going to be something important when we set up later. This is where you customize menus and widgets and other things like this. This is a menu, and I can add widgets in, which are tiny little program tools that you can slide into different places. And we are going to use one of those widgets to add a flag counter in this section somewhere over here. But not today, as we are, again, just doing a walkthrough. So I have menus. That's also where you edit your menus. So where you are doing other things. Now you can see I deleted that resources page earlier. It's invalid because there's nowhere for it to go. So now instead I'm going to remove this one, and we will do this later. You can see I've got collecting resources, save the menu. I'll show you how to set this up later. In a different video, but right now what you need to know is if I come here and I preview, you can see all of a sudden it has popped up right there. Back to my dashboard, please. And again, I will walk you through this in different places, so don't worry about that. Headers are usually up at the top of your website. Backgrounds, we're not going to worry too much about that because the theme takes care of that background, that image right there. But you could, if you wanted to, change this black wood to something else. I prefer that, but it's up to you. And so that is a way to customize that as well. Let's see, plugins. Again, these are tiny little tools that activate in a different way. We're not going to use any of these except for one in particular, I believe. That's a widget. Most of these are limited to the full paid version or to a different part of the website, and they actually cannot be used. So if it says Campus Press only, we can't use it. So there's all kinds of little tools you can add on to your toolbox. We're not going to worry about too much of those. And this will give you the different types of widgets and plugins. For right now, your users. You should only probably see 2 if you're on your account, unless your teacher has a different setting. This is my teacher's account right now. And that's, again, that's me, because this is a test student account. And this is my student account. So you really should only see 2 of them. But you can see how many posts they've made and so on and so forth since you've joined. Tools. There's going to be a couple of different tools. Don't do this one because you are still going to be underneath the teacher no matter if you delete the site. And we really don't want to, all that does is delete the page so that you have to start over, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So just leave that. If you have already, we can always re-establish yours if you need to, but you can see any of this. It's really nothing we have to use, so that's the pro version. We're going to skip that. As far as your settings go, if you notice, this is somewhere else that our dashboard brought us. So this is our site title. We have all kinds of things where you can set the time. You can put the date format in different places. You can put the time format in different ways. Just make sure it makes sense to you. You guys are, I don't even know, but we're just going to leave it at default because we really don't need it. And then any changes you make, just make sure you save changes. You can also collapse the menu if you need it out of your way, but really it's not that big of a deal. If you want to make a blog post very quickly, you can just hit a new and it will take you to that blog post, but you can also see if you hover, you can do post, media, link, page. Again, that's just a quicker way to get there, but it's really not that long. If you have any questions, just let me know. This again was just a walkthrough of what you're seeing on your screen. It really doesn't have a whole lot of impact with how you do things. It's just an orientation. So if you have any questions, just please let me know and I will get back to you as soon as I can.